First of all, thank you very much, Prof, for the enlightening explanation just now. Before I begin, I would like to do a sound check. Can you hear me clearly? If you can you please type in the chat box so that I will know that I'm not speaking alone? Can you help me to do that? Okay, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, everyone. When Prof introduced me just now as an expert in service learning, I beg to differ actually. I'm still learning, okay? And what I wish to do today is not to share what are the components of service learning, what are the strategies that you can do to connect or to ensure that the assignment tally with your CLO, for example. What I wish to do here is to share my experiences undertaking service learning, teaching and learning strategy at the School of Law of Universiti Utara, Malaysia. And of course, along the way, I hope bits and pieces of the information that I share, it will also give some idea on how you can integrate SULAM into your own teaching and learning experience as well. Well, I shall begin. Now, I purposely put this photo here just to share with you. My journey in SULAM began in 2018 when I ended up in one sharing session by Prof. Okay, quite the same as the session that we are having today, but it was a face-to-face workshop on high-impact educational practices. And one of the sharing that Prof made at that time was service learning. So I become captivated and very much excited with the sharing. And I believe that is also what everybody here inside this meeting room is also feeling now, that wow, so many things that can be done, so many ideas that can be generated from Prof sharing. Okay, so being a law lecturer myself, so I was thinking, how can I put this into practice? So looking into the approaches of SULAM that has been explained earlier, so I was thinking I can actually get my students to provide legal consultancy because what they have learned in class, for the theoretical aspect, we can actually embed that into our syllabus. Okay, from 2018. So up to this stage, there has been 2 batches that we have implemented this at a School of Law. So what I did from the workshop, I went back to my school at Colgis, School of Law of UUM, and we sit down with the lecturers to brainstorm in order to first, of course, to determine the course. Which course is it that we want to implement this service learning? And as Prof has mentioned, we resorted to collaborative assignment for the students. We combined 3 courses. I myself, I'm teaching jurisprudence. My friend, I'm teaching alternative dispute resolution. And Tazina was teaching law of succession and probate. So how did we make it to become collaborative assignment? Was because it happened that these 3 subjects were taught to the same batch of students, which is in their semester 7, final year students, and they are the same students. Okay, because one of the challenges of service learning is the number of hours that students need to commit to
write answers in the paper. Then you take the paper that your answer, you take picture of the answers. No, take the picture of the answers.
Okay. Is that because students are not taking one subject only, our subject for the semester. They're taking maybe 6 or 7 other subjects as well. So thinking that this one service learning project can be carried out to achieve one CLO for all 3 courses, they will be saving a lot of time and resources as well for the students. So we carried out, okay, for the first batch for 36 students. And for the coming batch, okay, the following semesters, more lecturers from School of Law engaged in our project as well. So beginning with 3 lecturers, now we have 9 lecturers altogether. Because of the larger number of students and also larger number of teaching manpower that we need to address this. So I hope in the upcoming semesters, actually this semester, we also want an additional course involving the same students also wanted to join in, but because of the PKP, we decided that we will bring this forward to the next semester. Okay, but I'm not here to talk about the collaborative assignment. I'm here to talk about the what we did for our service learning after we have decided what are the courses that we are going to do. We move on to choose the CLO. Okay, we sit down and we take a look at our 3 or 4 CLOs in each of the course syllabus. So we pick up one that is very closely related to explain or to analyze or to practice. Okay, so these are some of the keywords that we choose from the CLO so that it will meet into the type of assignment that we are going to give the instructions to the students. But of course, in choosing the CLO and also coming up with the assignment, we have to bear in mind the requirements of the university, for example, the 20 hours time, as well as the number of the marks given. Okay, for example. And at the same time, I've also added in the chat box just now about access to resources. So various types of resources will be involved when we are drafting the assignment question. For example, resources to funding, or resources in terms of materials, reference materials, because final year students, they are supposed to already gather most of the information that they need, okay, in terms of communication skills, in terms of legal advisory. So, and as well, access to resources in terms of transport as well, because I see some one question in the chat box talking about riding motorcycle or driving a car for that matter. And access to resources would actually impact on our choice of the community, choice of the assignment as well. Because of the large number of students and the we want everybody to get involved in this project, we have decided for the previous 2 batches is we did it within UUM only. After learning from this experience of guiding the students for their service learning exercise, we can see the potential of expanding this to outside of UUM as well. This, okay. So for the purpose of communicating and keeping up with the progress of the students, we set up the dashboard by using Padlet. Okay, and this Padlet is given access to the students so that we can monitor them as well. They can update their progress as well. And in here, I think Prof has mentioned the stages ASEM in SULAM just now. I think mostly we skip the analysis part because it's not that we skip, but the determination of courses, CLO, community, we have determined it upfront, okay, for the students. But what is it that they want to do? What is it that they want to plan and investigate the problems of the community? We will give it to the students. For example, maybe they get the INASIS, maybe they will get from different schools or PTJs that we have already identified previously. And for this purpose, I have also created one dummy or template, excuse me, dummy template on Padlet. If you can see the link on my screen just now, I'll just type this in the chat box. Okay. The purpose why I create this Padlet is to give an overview, okay, of what is it that you can implement for your particular courses as well. And I have allowed you to remake this course, this Padlet, by clicking on the remake icon on the top right hand side. I'll just go to my screen here, or maybe it's here. Okay, dashboard for service learning. Okay. What I have created here is, in order to make this Padlet to your own Padlet account, kindly click on the remake at the top right hand side of the Padlet. You can just click on this icon remake so that you can add this to your own Padlet account. Okay, and what by having this Padlet, actually, we were able to structure the activities of the students, and they can also add in their information. Okay, for example, stage 1, what we requested the students to do is to, before going for stage 1, we asked them to come up with a proposal first, only 2 or 3 pages proposal. What is it that they intend to do? Which community that they wish to choose, for example, okay, and what strategy, okay, that they want to do. Is it direct SULAM? Is it advocacy SULAM, for example, or is it indirect SULAM? Depends on their proposal. And once we approve the proposal, they can carry on or move forward to stage 1 when they carry out the investigation, okay, by way of carrying out survey, interview, or research. And for this purpose, it is highly pertinent that we put the date, okay, so that the students can be alert, okay, when is the date that they are supposed to carry out this stage, okay, and then following on to the next stage. Normally, we will give 2 or 3 weeks each. So the weeks that I have mentioned here are only indicative, which you would need to structure that based on your own timeline, okay, and add the instructions. For example, getting the students to upload their evidences of carrying out the interview, carrying out the research, for example. And some students even went further to provide the analysis of the research or the survey that they have carried out to identify what is the problem of the community that they have chosen. Moving forward to stage 2, they will now prepare for the purpose of the action or the implementation of the service learning project. Okay, they will prepare, for example, they issue letters, they hold meetings, they create reservations, for example, for projector, for place, for the venue, for example, and to go for reserving their banner, okay, sometimes. Okay. And then this is the time, also the students will need to upload their evidences for doing that. At stage 3, they will now go for the implementation of the project by way of opening up booth, legal aid clinic, talk, poster, okay, for example. And here is, again, they will need to put up evidences so that we can advise what is the stage that they are at, we can advise what is it that they're doing right or wrong. And sometimes, okay, at most times, for me myself, I find it very surprising that they can actually do things, great wonders, even beyond what we expect them to do. And at this stage, when they are implementing, the lecturers will be assigned to visit their booth, visit their talk session, okay, for example. And after they come back, they will need to do reflection. But I have seen that Prof has suggested that reflection be done at various stages. It's very customizable, okay? And this reflection, the one that I have uploaded here, is actually a template that we suggest the students to do it. It is a modified template from Gibbs reflective cycle model. There are various reflection samples that we can take, but because we want to keep it in the same format, okay, everybody will have to fill in the same template and require it to be 1 page only, because we want to make sure that they put very meaningful information into this template. Let me just click on it. Okay, it's modified from description, feeling, evaluation, analysis until conclusion and action plan. We also have instructions here so that they can just fill in. And this is an individual work because the reflection is, we need it to be from individual student. And the last stage, okay, last stage will be just demonstration, okay, or submission of their service learning reports. The first batch we requested for written report together with face-to-face presentation, okay. But for the second one, we due to time constraint and due to large number of students, we requested the students to submit their written report online together with a YouTube video. Again, it surprised me as well that the students can do more than what we requested them to do, a lot of formats that they can do. And in order to summarize their learning experiences in coming up with in carrying out their service learning project. And I could see after we carried out this service learning for our students, we found very meaningful reflection given by the students, some of which I'll be sharing in my following slides. What is it that they get from the carrying out this project? Okay, a lot of types of skills that they get. They can find in terms of management, in terms of the takeaways what they get, and also suggestions on how we can improve what we do for the upcoming batches as well. Now, the purpose why I am sharing with you this template dashboard for you to remake into your own Padlet is because I find that this dashboard is very, very useful and helpful in terms of implementing service learning straight away. Okay, meaning by having this Padlet with a little bit of modification, of course, to put in your course information and everything, it's ready to go. Okay, in terms of straight away, you can replicate this for your own course and for your own CLO as well. Okay, and coming back to my presentation, just to share the experiences. I have a lot of slides here, but don't worry, all pictures. Okay, what we ask the students to do at stage 1 is to carry out the investigation, and most of them will carry out surveys, interviews. Okay, for example, they give out surveys, okay, to the student, to their intended community, where some of them will also interview. Okay, this is an example of the interview. What is their understanding about a certain subject matter? And for that matter, we have chosen some of the topics inside of our course syllabus. Okay, these are some of them will input the information straight away into Google form. Okay, and interview as well. Okay, and also survey and some of the responses. Okay, this is in order to understand the problem or the understanding. What is it, the project that the students will need to carry out in order to address the needs of the society. Okay, now at stage 2, after they understand what is the problem and what they need to do, move forward for the next stage, is they will do the preparation in order to discuss, to reserve items, reserve venue, and correspondence, printing, revising notes, for example. As you can see, some of them prepared manual banners, some of them will prepare online banner, for example, handouts, brochures, discussing in the group, okay, for example, and this is one of the legal firms of the students that are discussing about the projects that they will carry out later. And as well as discussion, some of them even went to do plan coordination, okay, because they get the community of the foyer at Bugis. They will have to build where will the LCD be located. In terms of planning and their management skills, teamwork skills that can be developed in carrying out this project, okay, as well as handouts for the students. Now, stage 3 is when the students will actually carry out the implementation of the service learning. Some of them will open legal aid booth, will showcase posters, video sharing, carry out talk, do group sharing, individual sharing, and very often it is, as you may see, many of our students choose direct SULAM as well as advocacy SULAM because of the nature of the law, where they want to share their knowledge and experiences to their intended community. Okay, and here are some of the samples that our students have carried out. Okay, LCD projector, they can play it during that session, and as well lecturers will be present, okay, at the projects in order to supervise, in order to give more support to the students. Okay, although we are not actually the part of the community, but we are guiding our students just to show our presence, that we are with them all the way. Okay? The discussion, the sharing of the information to their community. Okay? For example, here some more photos of our implementation of the service learning project for the each of the communities. And most of them have carried out splendid work in my opinion. Okay. And this is the projects and the explanation to the community. Now, stage 4 is the reflection, which you can actually create this requirement for the reflection for all the stages as well. Okay, where the students will reflect on their service learning experiences, or if you do it by stages, then what is their reflection for stage 1, reflection for stage 2, stage 3, for example. Now they will need to describe their actions, how do they feel, their evaluation and analysis of what they did. This is based on the modified Gibbs reflective cycle model. And from there, I have picked up some points that we can share here is on self-learning. For me, is the starting pack for us to start practice the think as law students should have. My preparation of knowledge became more proper than before. Self-learning gives a greater sense of personal identity and moral development to me. So these are all taken from their written reflection. From the service, I think my confidence level has developed. I think in critical situation, I can become more manageable than before. Okay? And the service learning program should be continued for next batches. This is a very good feedback from the students. They find that they get a lot of input, a lot of learning experiences, rich learning experiences from carrying out the service learning project, that they recommend it to be carried out and continued for the next batches as well. Throughout the project, I learned to analyze the client's problem and able to convey my idea in a simpler way, okay? And it can enhance my greater interpersonal development. I can work with my teammates and enhance the communication skills with the people, because they need to communicate with their community. And I had learned to be more social and confident in expressing my thought and ideas along the way. Now, stage 5 will involve the, like I said, from the reflection, I think all the students from the reflections, you could see that they are so filled and content with their service learning projects, that we feel that it is actually meeting the intended outcome that we wanted for our respective courses. And stage 5 is final one. We want to demonstrate their entire learning service experiences in implementing service learning. And at first, we conducted the presentation face-to-face, okay, where they present all their information, all their experiences, okay. And over the second batch, we have it by way of video, okay, and they will create the video and upload into YouTube, share the link with the respective lecturers, okay, various types of videos created by our students. And in the end, this is our group of students, the first batch of students who carried out service learning for 3 subjects, common students for all 3 subjects: jurisprudence, law of succession and probate, and alternative dispute resolution. And from there, our work has also been featured in Sintok News Portal, Sebar Ilmu Pewarisan Harta dan Wasiat kepada Pelajar UUM, because the project is carried out, I think, mostly entirely by the students themselves, and lecturers are facilitators. The beauty of service learning is we guide them, make sure that they are on the right track, updating at each stages in the service learning stages, so that we can monitor, we can advise, so that they can come to the last stage where they will demonstrate their learning experiences. I think that's all what I want to share actually with regards to our experiences. So I hope some of these points, can be replicated into your own courses as well. When we determine the courses, we determine the CLO, by bearing in mind a lot of consideration. Okay, I'm returning the screen to Dr. Nisa.
All right. Okay. For questions or feedback or any suggestions related to SULAM in UUM. Yes, any question, anything about SULAM? We have about 30 more minutes before 12. It's time for question and answer.
Rosna,
Yeah.
The most of the things that you explained today, can it guide student supervision as well?
Prof. Shahada.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What was the question again, Prof. Shu?
Most of the things that you say today, can it be applied as a supervision technique as well?
Well, it is applicable in whatever domain. Yes.
It is.
The answer is yes. Yeah. Actually,
Can we SULAM in supervision? The question is, can we SULAM in supervision?
oh, there's nothing wrong. I think it is facilitating any project. Is pretty similar. Yeah, it's pretty similar skills facilitating. But the point is we create opportunity for students. They may not be able to achieve those potential that prepared by our learning experience. So that's why I think as a facilitator, as a lecturer, our job is an experience designer, a learning experience designer. We design what is best for the students and what kind of intended outcome we would like to see at the end. And we go backward. I call it backward curriculum. You look at the intended outcome, you reverse and go back and start how you plan to achieve. So the same thing with SULAM, the same thing with our supervision, right, Prof. Shu?
Yeah.
You're talking about PhD supervision? PhD supervision?
Both undergrads and any kind of supervision.
Exactly, because you can do like capstone project. Similarly, I mean, it's part of high impact education practices as well. High capstone project or final year project.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. I noticed some recommendation here. Dr. Noaza from TISA suggested that we register SULAM Ibn Dahari for tax incentive. Maybe this is something that we can discuss with ACA. How, I don't know how the companies can contribute and get some tax incentive if they contribute via our Bendahari. That is one good suggestion. I will bring it up to UTLC and also HEA. And another thing is money-wise, I think we try to minimize as much as possible. But if the project incur costs, I think it's time for us as a department or as a school to look back again at our partner. Who is our community partner and who can help us fund this project under this community partner? Yang berhormat ke, adun ke, any agencies, any, I don't know, through our industry network. You can find someone who's willing to contribute together to develop something that of his or her personal interest as well. Because the question is, what is it for me, right? Dr. Halim asked that, what's in it for me? All right, so if we can develop a project long term, like what happened in Johor, UTM did a lot of service learning in collaboration with industry. They got lots and lots of funding. Long term, try to develop certain region, certain village, even going abroad to Cambodia, developing one Muslim village. I think last year, our former minister launched SULAM in Tanjung Batu Surat in Johor, a program undertaken by, I think, Prof. Zaki from UTM and his team for almost a decade initiative, how to develop, nurture that area from nowhere to now becoming something that is becoming part of tourist attraction in Johor. So this, if institution, if a university or school can visualize, have a great vision, I'm going to help this one community relevant to my field, and over the next 5 years, this community will become champion or world champion, a regional champion, whatever. I think we need to step backwards and see what can we do, what are strategic action plan that we can take over 1 semester, 2 years, 3 years, and who's going to be involved, what kind of MOA, and who's going to help us realize our mission here. So but right now, I don't think we have got to that stage. Right now, we have satu pusat pengajian satu daerah, right? We have that. I don't know how we move about doing this. Have we identified the needs of one daerah, the critical, the urgent needs of that daerah, and work with the state government or work with anybody, company, state government, whatever, to really nurture that area, bring up, do something, and bringing in whatever causes relevant to that particular community. That's a lot of effort, preparation, definitely. Otherwise, we've been doing this, we keep doing this, but the impact is only 1 star maybe. If you look at the Prof. Zakaria KTP star, there are 5 star, right? Star 1, star 2, star in terms of impact of our service right now, maybe level 1 or level 2. We should strive to go up until at least level 3 to have change in the community mindset or quality of life. And that requires commitment from the management of the school at the same time, not simply the individual lecturer. Any other question? If you leave me talking, I will talk. So I want to stop and listen to you.
I think there is one question about the positive feedback from the students that I have shared just now, Prof.
Go ahead.
Feedback from the students for improvement or obstacle or negative comment from the students. Yes, sometimes we do have, for example, time constraint, okay, because of the project that they need to carry out, as well as funding. But because, how do I say this, we were too eager to carry out the project, we did not resort to the funding by HEA at that time. So what we did was, among the lecturers, we collected some funds in order to reimburse the students for their project implementation, as well as their report submission. Because all 3 lecturers were so, we did not mind at that time, okay? But along the way, we have learned to address, okay, the first batch experience. We learned that we can overcome similar problems in for the upcoming semesters. For example, we requested only online presentation, online submission of the report without hard copy. That's for the example. But then again, for the time for the students that they have to complete, we is like Prof said, it's negotiation, as well as it's a matter of communication with the students, that they are actually saving time in terms of this collaborative assignment strategy that we implement. Instead of spending such number of hours for one group assignment for one subject, now they can achieve one project for 3 courses, okay, for example. Thank you for your question.
Ani, another question, Ani. Can you share your SULAM experience with industry collaboration? Do you collaborate with any industry or agencies?
For the following, for the past projects, no, we only have that internal of UUM, Dr. Mazila, and we can replicate that experience for the upcoming semesters outside industry as well. Or some communities that we have already identified, for example, Changlun area, school area, that might be benefiting from our legal consultancy services by our students. It is in mind that we will implement that. But in fact, when Prof was discussing yesterday about SULAM, we were also thinking this is also something which is doable, okay, because our legal consultancy services can also be provided, implemented by our students by using online medium as well. Thank you for the question.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Amin from Kisah.
Salam.
My question is there any rejection for parents? If yes, how to solve that? From parents. Might be some parents feels that not suitable for students to go out giving service.
So far, I have not received any comments or complaint about parents' resentment, but I'm not sure. Dr. Ani, have you heard or anyone? I know there are so many people here today, about 200, now more than 200 here. Most have done it, especially from COB. Is Dr. Zuraida here? Zuraida, COB, SBM. I think many have done it. Is there any concern from parents? Anyone?
From my experience as well, we have never experienced any challenges or obstacle from the parents. I think because we mainly carried out our service learning inside, but it's potentially happening. This possibility is realistic. It can happen in the future as well, and maybe Prof can share some strategy. If this were to happen, how can we address, overcome this issue?
Maybe perhaps we need to understand why are they what are they concerned and why, and then only we can understand the reason behind it. Unless your project is pretty risky, high stake, and it involves safety, then I think we try to minimize as much as possible, because eventually we will be responsible. But in terms of other policies, I think I don't know much. Perhaps you can check with HEPO. I think HEPO has better policy for taking out students from campus. Maybe you can check that. But otherwise, from my reading, I have not come across that issue. But the best thing is try to keep it safe, whatever to the maximum, and if it's risky, keep it to the minimum. If it involves safety, for instance. Okay, Dr. Amin.
Okay, Prof. Okay.
There's a question from Dr. Siti Nazwa. Due to MCO, can I present using videos? Sure, no problem. That is the alternative method. Because due to MCO, we can appear online, virtually, asynchronous or synchronously, depending on the, suitability of the community.
For this particular question, our friend, regarding the SULAM conducted by Dr. Ani, you link it with 3 courses. The question is it the whole courses being linked to one SULAM? No, it is only one CLO from 3 courses. So meaning one course, one CLO, we link it to the SULAM. So one SULAM project to achieve 3 CLOs. Each of these CLO is coming from the courses. And also certain course content, not the entire course.
I think the law school, they are very fortunate because the same students, I think, taking the 3 courses during the same semester, so they can coordinate similar activity that can, result in 3 different assignments, save students time, and it will be more impactful and meaningful to the student, I believe. That's why we state here the minimum hours for a SULAM course is 20 SLT, 20 hours SLT. But if it's too little, there's no impact, there's no project. And in terms of assessment also, it has to be 1/3, minimum 30% of the assessment of the course coming from SULAM project. Then it's worthwhile for students to invest time and money for that particular project. I'm reading from Fatin. Student need to isi borang HEPA jamin diri when taking outside the same time, coordinator. Maybe Fatin, would you like to share something about your tuba, Pulau Tuba? Fatin, are you here? Can you say something?
Like our experience to Pulau Tuba?
Yeah. The one that you typed here, the process involved with parents.
Okay, Assalamualaikum everyone. I'm Fatin from SEDI. So our experience of taking out students for programs under the Enactus unit, I'm sure that Dr. Chandra is here. So among the things that we need to do is, the first one is to isi online dekat HCP. Dia macam ada satu online punya system where we have to put in like kertas kerja yang very basic. At the same time, we also give out our kertas kerja to pengarah SEDI. When it's approved, then we will tabulate like a rough estimation of budget. Then a few days before our departure outside campus, so we will gather the students and really ask them whether the parents know that you're going out and whether they have health conditions and whatnot. So this is the part where when we gather all the students, we will distribute to them the borang jamin diri. So meaning to say that they will declare their health condition, which also include their blood type and whatnot, and also their parents or caretakers punya number to be contacted in case anything were to happen to them during the outing. So we will also ask them to photocopy some details like their metric cards and stuff like that, and one copy of the details will be left in the office in case lah na'udzubillah min zalik sekali dengan coordinator dia pun jadi apa-apa kan. So those are the things that we are doing right now for the future.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is very typical SOP under HEPA, right? If you want to bring student out campus.
Yes, Prof. Kiranya macam standardized borang the shipping. At the same time, kita akan macam courtesy akan message parents, and then ada juga lah students yang macam akan kata okay, you tak payah message parents sebab dia rasa macam childish kan, sebab dia rasa cikgu sekolah pula bila coordinator message kepada parents. So ada juga yang parents kata ada yang kita text parents, ada yang kita call parents, ada juga yang kita suruh students tu betul-betul call parents depan kita lah untuk make sure kata parents know that they are going out.
Okay, thank you Fatin for sharing. I think this is a very regular SOP for UUM. Maybe you can check with HEPA, right? We have about 15 more minutes before, and then now the UTLC is showing the QR code, but we are willing to stay here if you have any more questions. Dr. Noliza asked here, is there any distinctive features between SULAM and other community engagement like Bhakti Siswa, etc.? I think the main difference is SULAM must be course-based, related to the discipline, and graded. And of course, there's nothing wrong to follow the SULAM's SOP for other community engagement. Just go ahead. There's no marks, no grades, whatever. But you want to ask them to do reflection, go ahead. It's okay, fine, even better. But I think what we're trying to say here is that for every program, you must have at least 1 or 2 SULAM courses. I think for WACSB at COB, they are mandated by WACSB to have 2 service learning projects. Betul tak orang COB? That is very typical professional accreditation requirement to show that student has been sent out to the field to solve community issues and to learn with the community. And if I may recap, why SULAM in the first place? It's not about KPI for UUM. It's not about doing differently, but it's about because SULAM is one of the best methods that can transform our students. Transform ourselves. Yeah. Yes.
Can I add something? I'm Chandra here from SEDI.
Sure. Dr. Chandra, silakan.
Okay, good morning everybody. I
Boleh
think
jauh sikit pada mic sebab dia pecah-pecah.
Betul. Okay, sekarang okay. Is it better?
Better sikit.
What I look at is SULAM is going to be one good platform where we are going to look at post-COVID punya situation here. Some people say it's post-COVID, but a lot of people say it's post-MCO, where we need to look into how our students are going to fare in the employment market. When we do not get much of employment, I mean, graduate employability is going to drop. That's what they are forecasting. So SULAM here will help our students to actually go to the grounds, understand the concept, so that they come back and then they understand some concepts that can be transformed into a startup business. Let's give you an example. I think I was working with my deputy and also with Fatin about training young accountants. Accounting students can help micro entrepreneurs to do their accounting, daily accounting. So these micro entrepreneurs just give their slips, what they buy, how much money they get. So when these guys do this accounting and then teach these people, it becomes SULAM. But at the end of the day, the students can also come back after the final year. They can become an accounting firm, but not an audit firm for big, large companies. But they can also be like for small companies, do the accountings and then charge them. So this becomes 2-in-1. You practice them with what's happening on the ground. At the same time, it also spurs their mind to actually work into a startup. So I find SULAM is
exactly, Dr. Chandra. Exactly. Wonderful.
Yes, SULAM is going to be something that we really need to embark when we come back after MCO. We have to plan more and more SULAM to bring things up to get what do you call new business post-COVID. Thank you very much, Prof. Rosna, just to share that.
Thank you very much for sharing. Exactly, you hit it. Kita nak, ya, di sini Dr. Mohamad 15 years ago. Yes, because learning has been practiced in North American universities for 7 countries. Kita sudah rendah lagi daripada buat dah. And it has become the culture, the lifestyle. That's why if you look at, if you look at the community overseas, people are very community oriented. They volunteer anytime, anywhere. But schools here, I think we need to nurture more so that when they come to campus, they instantly they can, volunteer to participate in any community engagement. In addition to SULAM. SULAM is just more structured, I think, more structured to ensure that no student left behind without SULAM before they graduate. We want them to experience that because based on the literature over 3 decades, not 3 years, 3 decades of research, students who are engaged in SULAM practices will have a better, like Dr. Chandra mentioned, employability skills, chances, and also develop themselves differently from those who have not undergone. It has been proven scientifically in research. Dr. Ani, anything else? 10 minit lagi? Nak tambah apa?
I think there is one question just now asking about marking rubrics or the assessment for SULAM.
Yes, the assessment is based on not so much on the service, but whether objective achieved or not, because there will be a report by the students when they plan to do some. Imagine we are a social scientist, just like a medical doctor, we diagnose patient's problem, we diagnose community's problem, and we elaborate what are the issues and what kind of strategies or theories, underpinning theories that will be used to solve the issues. So students have to do that in their report. It's not simply, okay, there is a problem, let's do something. No. Discipline-based problem solving in nature, and they delineate all the steps taken must be supported with evidence. And when they go out and if it doesn't work, if it goes in conflict with what they propose, then it's time for them to come back and reflect upon it. What went wrong? What could have been better? What could I have done differently? Those are the things that we would like to see in the students. Ability to anticipate future issues, future conflicts that cannot be available in our own classroom. Those are the philosophy behind SULAM. Yeah, and we need to assess to what extent have they achieved that. To what extent that the reflection is in depth, deep enough, and touch the core of the course?
Yeah, Prof, I would also like to share in the Padlet, one of the links that under the first shelf, is sample marking rubrics. But that is, you can modify that rubric for the purpose of your own courses based on what is it that you wish your students to achieve. For example, it also involves, let me just do very quickly, meets the actual needs. For example, Prof has mentioned just now, coordinated with the community well, integrated academically, facilitates reflection, which must be embedded into the service learning project, academic words, uses academics in real world, develop caring and improves quality of life. Maybe what is it that you wish to assess from the students, for example, communication skills, teamwork skills. Maybe we can just add on to the list and replace whatever that is not required here. So this is just an example of the service learning that we can do, very simple, and we can modify based on our needs.
Thank you, Dr. Ani, for sharing your material. So everybody can share, because she has done it and she has a template. You can simply adapt and modify. And I think we will ask the UTLC to have a special session with maybe with Dr. Fauzia or Dr. Noseha. They're doing that. Maybe they can share the constructive alignment about SULAM, how they go about doing constructive alignment to ensure course learning outcome and assessment measures and other alternative assessment to be introduced under SULAM. We don't have time to discuss here today, but there should be an extension of this. Once that you understood the conceptual framework of SULAM, you can proceed, start thinking, and now thinking how to really organize your learning outcome and the assessment. Ada lagi ke? Tak ada, kita ada.
Rosna.
Yeah.
Rusayani here.
Okay.
Okay, I just, because I saw just now quite a few questions related to funding for this type of engagement or learning. So I think it's high time for UUM to rethink on how we organize. Let's say now we have SULAM at the school level and how we engage, for example, the curriculum, pusat curriculum center, and then the student development center, and also other department which is I think relate to this SULAM. So that in terms of performance measure and so on, because if we do that way, I think we can actually reduce in terms of the money that we use. We can gather all the funding into one pool that we can share together. Like SEDI, for example, also I think have a good link in terms of how we do, because I have been working with Chandra in terms of our program like in agribusiness and so on. I think it's high time for UUM to think on how we try to integrate this SULAM into and try rather than just do it what we call remotely or by individual school. So in that sense, I think it is high time for us to think in that way.
So would like to add,
Thank you very much. Yes, Prof. Adiana.
Aziz here.
Okay, silakan Aziz.
Yeah, so in line with that, you mentioned just now there will be a further discussion. I would also like to suggest that, when we talk about SULAM, we can also link with the innovation. There are a lot of things that, we can further do with our SULAM. So sayang kalau kita buat just to hit one, but we can also aim for other aspect. But one thing yang I tengok macam like CUIC, what they did for Pulau Tuba, it come from enactors, for example, and it's not coming from one class. So these students are coming from a different classes. So probably we can think of how to SULAM that, because SULAM should come from a course that should be evaluated and so on. So mungkin kita juga boleh strategize on how can we have these enactors programs or projects to be SULAM project to a class courses also. Thank you.
Okay, terima kasih Prof Yani and Prof Aziz. Great suggestion. In fact, we do have a task force at the university level, chaired by TNCA, Prof Yus. We had one meeting last year, another meeting soon, I guess. At the university level, we have all the deans plus the center that involves in community engagement. We have Dean of HEPA, we have CUIC, SEDI, all representative came during the first meeting. Perhaps at that particular juncture, at that particular meeting, we can suggest some policy implication for university. Yes, I agree, we've been working separately. We are not coordinating well as a university in terms of impactful project for the community. So it's high time for us to look the bigger picture now, how UUM can bring more impact to the communities as a synergy. We come with a synergistic plan for the university. I agree. Thank you very much. 2 minit lagi. Ada lagi? Kod Dekan Prof Yani, you can bring forward this idea in your next meeting with TNCA. Because I think we would like to see more involvement from the leaders of the school, so that you are the driver. It's not the lecturer. You are the driver, and the lecturer will support you. Yeah. I would like to conclude, if there's no more question, simple step. First, we need to identify the right course, because from our several workshops in UTLC, some lecturers coming into the workshop not knowing what to do with the course, saying that, oh, I was given SULAM. I don't know how to turn this course into SULAM. It's very unplanned, not by design, it's by chance, randomly picked. Okay, so I would like to suggest that the school will choose the right course for SULAM and the right lecturer teaching the course. Because not everyone is, not to say people person, some people have more liking than the other. If, for instance, Sharimah Ruwaida, of course, I would find someone like Sharimah Ruwaida to SULAM for my program. If she's part of my instructors, because she has the persona to really deliver with the community. Let her be the champion for the school. And then train the rest to be with her, for instance. Do not force a reluctant lecturer to take SULAM, because it's very difficult for the student and also for the lecturer themselves. The liking for the SULAM and the fond for the community engagement need to be nurtured. For some, it's instantly, but for many, it's not. So choose the right course, the right person, and support them. Please support them. Then, inshallah, I think things will become brighter and better. And our existence in the northern region will be felt by the community out here. Okay? I think that's all for today. Annie? Anything from you, Annie? Dr. Annie?
Thank you, Prof. I am still learning a lot of things from you today. And I also pick up points that I want to add on to what we have already been carrying out. In future semesters, we also do that. I share the same thoughts with friends, participants today as well. It's an enlightening session, Prof. Thank you so much.
And on behalf of the team, I would like to thank you, all the participants, especially our friends on UPSI, UMS, UITM. Thank you for joining us. These are our team from SULAM at the national level. Actually, just for your information, at the national level, there's a task force led by Dr. Wan Zuhainis from the department, Academic Excellence Department, Bahkan Kecemerlangan, and chaired by Professor Zaki from UTM. And we developed the module, and soon we are coming up with the SULAM guidelines. Actually, you can Google, can get from the internet lots of strategies to do it. But we are going to prepare some very simple SULAM guideline, maybe soon. And there will also be a competition. I don't know when exactly, due to MCO. There will be competition to showcase your SULAM project at the national level. Perhaps UUM should participate. Make sure you capture all your document, videos, evidence of your work, and display less than like 5 minutes to display, to showcase your project. and the intended learning outcome. And we should be sharing, our best practice to motivate the rest to join us. So again, thank you so much for your motivating question. Very engaged, very good crowd today. I'm so proud. So thank you very much to UTLC for giving us the opportunity to share today. And I think actually this session was initially intended for 11 people. I hope the 11 new lecturers, newbies at UUM, but they're not new in higher education. Welcome to UUM and enjoy SULAM. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. Bye-bye.